some reflections on a Hobbesian principle in a how does Leo Strauss say, in an expressionistic manner. That is to say, not in a perfectly cogent or perfectly simply clear manner. We're just making fits and starts as a manner of research. So we should say locate Hobbes as outside the way we may now think about what Geleidenschaft or what scholarship is. Today we have the dominance of the nihilistic principle of something like the Hume's divide, which is one way to make a homology, to connect it at a stage of the thinking. But after Hume, there's Kant looked at this idea, and then you have a bunch of other people looking at the idea, then you have Nietzsche looking at the idea, then you have Simmel and Weber cleaning up some things in Nietzsche. And that's the form of nihilism we get, is this so-called causality normative divide, or otherwise more technically as the fact value divide in Simmel, which came into the American universities through some sociologists and through Talcott Parsons, I think, was a early translator of Weber, and I guess sort of a champion of his thinking. That version doesn't have what Hobbes still had, which is this kind of mix between explanatory and justifactory thinking. So we have to enter into the old way of doing things rather than the Werkfrei-Wissenschaft, Max Weber version, which is now totally in control of the social sciences, not of the law schools, for instance. Law schools have a totally different basis of their thinking. They're still based in sort of like, there's this rationality, and then there's like cultural differences, and then there's like some cases where there's irrationality. And so that reason has some kind of professional meaning, as it were. Just some kind of distortion professional, man with a hammer kind of blueprint sense to it. So neither of these two regimes would affect Hobbes, right? So, but when Hobbes is saying, so now there's this reflection on Hobbes' principle, is trying to formulate, when Hobbes says the person who's being assaulted, meaning by police carrying out lawfully what the sovereign has commanded them to do, remembering the sovereign must always be the current sovereign. This curious remark of Hobbes, the sovereign is always the current sovereign, or the present sovereign, by which he seems to mean the sovereign cannot be tied down to the Constitution or anything written down in the past, or anything that would limit him. He must be absolutely dominant and absolutely potential. It can't be limited in any way. So the sovereign must always be the current sovereign, and this is the sovereign that could send his agents to assault the person that Hobbes is talking about. So it seems like to me that what Hobbes is really saying is, Hobbes believes there should be an individual right to kill the officers of the state if those officers, um, which is most popularly represented by the police, if those officers are um, in their duty following laws which are, uh, I'm not sure what the principle is here, which, I mean, one, which are, I guess the strong way to say it is threatening your life in such a way that it defeats the purpose of the so-called um, social contract, in the sense that the social contract means people think they're safer and better off in a community than they would be on their own. The different version of the Bill of Rights would then follow, I think.